You thought it would have happened by now. Maybe you thought you would be married by 30. Maybe you thought 40 would find you building a life with someone. Instead, you were still waiting, still praying, still wondering. And some days, you try to be strong about it. You tell yourself that God's timing is perfect. You smile when friends announce their engagements. You attend another wedding. You congratulate another couple. Then you go home, close the door, and feel something you don't always know how to say. God, what about me? And perhaps the hardest part is this. You have tried to do things differently. You have prayed. You have waited. You have walked away from relationships that weren't right. You have tried not to settle. You have tried to trust God. But now you're older, and the questions feel heavier. What if it never happens? What if I waited too long? What if everyone else gets the love I've been praying for? What if God forgot me? If that's where you are right now, please don't click away. Because your singleness is not necessarily proof that you missed your chance. And it is not automatically proof that God is punishing you. Sometimes, the reason you are still single has less to do with being forgotten, and more to do with what God may be protecting, revealing, healing, and changing inside you. But before we get there, let's talk about the pain no one talks about enough. There is a particular kind of loneliness that can come with being single in your 30s or 40s. It isn't the same as being single at 22. At 22, people tell you that you have plenty of time. At 38, people stop saying that. Sometimes they say nothing at all. And somehow, that silence can feel even louder. You may look around and see people building lives, buying homes, raising children, celebrating anniversaries, planning family holidays, and you may genuinely be happy for them. But then a quiet thought enters your mind. I thought I would have this too. That's the grief. Because sometimes you're not grieving a person. You're grieving a life you imagined. The wedding you thought would happen. The partner you thought would sit beside you. The children you thought you might raise. The ordinary moments you thought you would share with someone. And when those things don't happen on your timeline, you can begin to feel like life is moving forward without you. But hear me carefully. Your life is not on pause because you are unmarried. And you are not behind because your story looks different. The world has given us a timeline. Graduate. Find someone. Get married. Have children. Build a family. But God has never promised to follow the timeline of the people around you. Your life is not laid in His hands, even when it feels laid in yours. But this is where things become confusing, because you know the Bible says to trust God. Yet trusting Him can become difficult when you don't understand what He is doing. You prayed for a good man. You asked God to guide you. You may have even met people who seemed promising, but they left. They changed. They weren't who you thought they were. Or perhaps you walked away because deep down you knew something wasn't right. And now you wonder if you made a mistake. Maybe I was too picky. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe that was my chance. Maybe I should have stayed. This is where fear can become dangerous. Because fear doesn't always tell you to give up. Sometimes fear tells you to settle. It whispers, "You're getting older. Nobody is perfect. Maybe this is as good as it gets. Don't be too difficult. Don't expect real love." And before you realize it, you can start negotiating against your own peace. Not because someone is truly right for you, but because being alone has started to feel more frightening than being unhappy. And that is a dangerous place to make a life-changing decision, because a relationship can end your singleness without healing your loneliness. Marriage can give you a husband and still leave you emotionally alone. Having someone beside you is not the same as having someone who is truly safe beside you. And perhaps that is one reason God has not allowed certain doors to stay open. What if some of the relationships that didn't work were not evidence that you failed? What if they were evidence that you were being redirected? Not every closed door is rejection. Sometimes it is rescue. There may have been a man you wanted desperately. You prayed for him, waited for him, excused his behavior, hoped he would change. And when it ended, you thought your heart was breaking because you lost your future. But perhaps you were grieving an idea, not God's plan. Because there is a difference between loving someone and being able to build a healthy life with them. You can love someone who cannot love you well. You can feel chemistry with someone who is emotionally unavailable. You can pray for someone who has no intention of building a godly life with you. And you can mistake intensity for destiny. But God sees what you cannot see. He sees patterns, motives, hidden wounds, unspoken resentments. He sees who a person becomes when life gets difficult. You may see potential. God sees the whole picture. And sometimes, what feels like God taking something away is actually God refusing to let you build your future on something unstable. That doesn't mean every single person is single because God is protecting them from a terrible relationship. Life is more complex than that. But it does mean this. A delayed relationship is not always a denied life. And now we come to something deeper. Sometimes God allows the waiting to reveal what love has meant to us. Because some of us have been taught, without realizing it, that being chosen proves our worth. If a man loves me, I am desirable. If he stays, I am valuable. If I get married, then my life makes sense. But what happens when no one chooses you? What happens when the relationship ends? What happens when you are still alone at 42? If your identity is built on being chosen by a man, singleness can feel like a personal rejection. But God may be doing something profound in this season. He may be teaching you to stop asking another person to give you an identity that only he can establish. You are not more valuable because someone marries you, and you are not less valuable because someone didn't. Marriage is a gift, but it is not proof of worth. And singleness is not a sentence. This matters deeply, because when you know who you are, you stop accepting relationships that require you to become smaller. You stop confusing anxiety with love. You stop chasing people who keep you confused. You stop begging for basic honesty. You stop calling emotional inconsistency a complicated connection. And you begin to understand something beautiful. Peace is not boring. Consistency is not a lack of passion. Healthy love does not have to hurt you to feel meaningful. Maybe God is not just preparing someone for you. Maybe He is preparing you to recognize the difference between love and emotional addiction, between attraction and compatibility, between loneliness and genuine connection. So what do you do while you wait? Not pretend you don't care. Not force yourself to be happy every second. Not stop desiring marriage. Desire is not the problem, but desperation can distort your vision. Start by becoming honest with God. Instead of saying, "God, I'm fine," when you're not fine, try saying, "God, this hurts. I feel forgotten. I'm afraid of the future. I don't understand this season." God can handle your honesty. The Psalms are full of people bringing their real emotions to God. You don't have to perform strength in His presence. Then, look at your patterns. Who have you repeatedly been attracted to? Emotionally distant men? Men who need saving? Men who give just enough attention to keep you hoping? Men who make promises, but never create safety? Ask yourself a difficult question. What feels familiar to me, and why? Sometimes we don't choose what is healthy. We choose what feels familiar. And healing may require learning that familiar is not always safe. Then make room for the life you have now, not the life you will start after marriage. Your life is happening today. Build friendships. Travel if you can. Serve. Create. Learn. Rest. Take care of your finances. Strengthen your faith. Develop emotional health. Become a woman who is not waiting for a man to give her permission to live. And if you meet someone, don't abandon yourself just because you finally have an opportunity. Pay attention. Watch their actions. Notice how you feel around them. Not only excited, but safe, respected, free to be honest, free to disagree, free to have boundaries. A godly relationship should not require you to betray the woman God is healing. And now, if you're tired of waiting, I want to leave you with this. Your age does not make your story less possible. 35 is not too late. 40 is not too late. 45 is not too late for God to write something new. But even more importantly, your life does not become meaningful only when the relationship arrives. You are not standing in the waiting room of life. You are living. Right now, God is still working in your story. Maybe marriage will come. Maybe love will surprise you in a way you never expected. Maybe God is protecting you from something you would later thank Him for. Maybe He is healing parts of you that would have made you accept less. Maybe He is teaching you how to be whole, so that when love comes, you don't lose yourself inside it. And maybe this season is not asking you to stop hoping. Maybe it is asking you to hope differently. Not, "God, give me anyone before it's too late," but, "God, lead me into the life you have for me. Teach me to recognize what is healthy. Help me stop chasing what cannot hold me. And if marriage is part of my story, help me wait without abandoning myself. Because the goal is not simply to stop being single. The goal is not to have a wedding. The goal is not to prove that you were finally chosen. The goal is to walk closely with God and live a life that does not require you to betray your peace. So please, don't give up on your future, but don't give up on your present either. The years ahead of you are not empty. You have not missed the moment when life was supposed to begin, and the right relationship, if it comes, will not be your rescue from an incomplete life. It will be a relationship you enter as a woman who already knows. She is seen, she is loved, she is valuable, and she was never forgotten by God. Your story is not over, and you're waiting, maybe holding more purpose than you can see right now.